Imagine, just for a second, a financial disaster so massive and so incredibly fast that it could bankrupt a major company in the blink of an eye. And we're not talking about a sudden stock market crash or some historic legal settlement. No, we are talking about artificial intelligence. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a high-stakes corporate crisis that literally has IT managers and CFOs around the globe in a state of absolute panic. Because it turns out, when you give employees totally limitless access to the most powerful technology on Earth, the results can be, well, catastrophic. Okay, let's dive right into this. $500 million. That is the exact amount one unnamed mystery company accidentally burned on artificial intelligence. And get this, they didn't do this over a decade or even a year. They did it in just 30 days. It's a staggering number that honestly exceeds the entire annual IT budget of a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So you're probably wondering, how does a company literally incinerate $500 million in a single month? Well, they forgot one crucial detail about how AI actually works under the hood, and they had absolutely zero spending caps or alert systems in place. The sheer panic of this timeline is just unbelievable. Let's walk through it. In week 1, employees enthusiastically started using their shiny new AI tools, completely without controls, and they racked up about $20 million. Bad, right? But then it accelerated. Boom, week 2 hits. Teams launch these automated coding agents, and that pushes the cost to $85 million. By week 3, engineers are sending long, super context-heavy prompts, pushing the burn rate to $175 million. And then week 4. By this point, 24/7 automated workflows were running completely in the background without any human supervision, adding another $220 million to the bill. In under a month, a staggering $500 million was just gone. So how exactly does a tech budget explode like this? Let's get into part 1, the hidden token trap. The real culprit here is token-based pricing. See, unlike the software we're all used to, AI charges you for every single input word you type and every single output word it generates back to you. Think of traditional software like buying a monthly bus pass, right? You pay once, you write as much as you want. AI, on the other hand, is like sitting in a taxi with the meter running at hyperspeed. A simple 100-word prompt might just cost a few cents, sure, but multiply those cents by thousands of employees running prompts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that taxi meter spins totally out of control. The contrast here is just night and day. Traditional SaaS, stuff like Microsoft 365 or Slack, is safe. It's got a fixed monthly price, predictable budgeting, and hard user limits. You know what you're paying. But over on the AI side, we have this chaotic reality of token-based pricing. Every single request is a brand new charge. There are no natural limits built in. Consumption is entirely unpredictable, leading to these explosive bills and, quite frankly, actual bankruptcy risk. IT managers everywhere have been treating AI like it's just another SaaS product, and that is proving to be a fatal misconception. To really grasp how fast this adds up, let's look at the life cycle of a single task given to an AI coding agent. You have to realize, AI agents are basically like employees who get paid by the second. First, the agent reads your existing code, which can eat up to 20,000 tokens just like that. Second, it analyzes your request. Third, it writes the new code. Fourth, it tests and debugs that code. And finally, it writes the documentation for it. Every single step incurs a cost. One simple task can consume 50,000 tokens and cost up to $4. So if an engineer gives an agent 50 tasks a day, you are suddenly paying up to $200 a day or $6,000 a month just for the tool one employee is using. Which brings us to part 2. Tech giants pull the plug. Because, spoiler alert, even the biggest players are panicking. Check this out. Uber saw incredible internal adoption. About 84% of their engineers were using these AI tools. But that massive success actually caused them to burn through their entire 2026 AI coding budget in just 4 months. They were forced to put severe access restrictions in place. Over at Amazon, uncontrolled usage by AWS teams has led to mandatory management approval just to use the stuff. And Microsoft, they actually discovered that for some of their heavy users, AI costs were exceeding the engineer's actual salary. I mean, think about that for a second. Let's look closer at how Microsoft handled that. Microsoft did not mess around. They took swift and decisive action. They flat out canceled Claude code licenses for over 5,000 of their engineers. By the end of June 2026, all those teams have to migrate over to Microsoft's own proprietary internal tool, GitHub Copilot CLI. This pivot is huge because it achieves a few critical things. It dramatically lowers costs by putting everything on their own infrastructure, it tightens up data security, and most importantly, it completely avoids paying third parties up to $2,000 a month per single engineer. All of this begs a pretty massive question, which we'll cover in Part 3, Calculating Real AI ROI. Are these tools actually economically viable? Let's break down the real economics here. Take an average software developer earning, say, a $10,000 monthly salary. In the positive scenario, an engineer uses a $500 a month AI tool to boost their productivity by 25%. That yields a net positive of $2,000. Great, the system works. But look at the negative case. If an engineer is a heavy AI user, costing the company $2,000 a month in tokens, but their actual productivity only goes up by 10% because honestly, they've become totally dependent on the tool and their code quality is slipping, the company actually suffers a net loss of $1,000 a month. Heavy AI usage with low productivity gains literally loses you money. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions in Part 4, Preventing Financial Disaster. This is your survival guide. If you are an IT manager, here are the immediate, absolutely critical phases you need for safe implementation. First up, set hard caps. Establish a maximum budget per user, maybe $200 a month, and automatically cut off their service when they hit 90% of it. Second, you need real-time monitoring dashboards so you can see exactly who is chewing through tokens at any given second. Third, employee training. Your teams desperately need to understand token economics so they aren't out there wasting massive prompts on tiny tasks. And fourth, always do a gradual pilot rollout. Start with 10 to 20 users and actually measure the real economic validation before you hand the keys to thousands of people. Building on that, here are a few more absolute lifesavers. You must review your AI bills weekly, not monthly. A month is enough time to burn $500 million, remember. You also need to strictly limit those 24/7 automated agents. They should require serious management approval before they're allowed to just run indefinitely. Furthermore, companies have to start exploring open-source, self-hosted alternatives like Llama 4 or Mistral. And lastly, have a fallback plan. If AI costs explode overnight, your team must be able to do their jobs without being hopelessly dependent on incredibly expensive third-party agents. So, where do we go from here? Let's wrap up with Part 5, the future AI economy. The simple truth is, the current economic model of AI is completely unsustainable, which means massive changes are heading our way. First off, we're inevitably going to see massive price cuts. Expect token prices to drop by 40 to 60%. Second, look out for the emergence of hybrid subscription models. Companies are going to demand fixed monthly packages with token caps to avoid these insane surprises. Third, we'll see a major shift away from giant, bloated models towards small, highly efficient models that are specialized for simple tasks. And finally, expect incoming government regulations demanding true pricing transparency just to protect companies from unexpected, ruinous bills. It all really boils down to this core takeaway. AI is a powerful tool and can genuinely increase productivity, but not at current prices and not without solid financial governance. We have to remember, AI is not a magic endpoint, it's just a tool. And just like any heavy-duty, powerful industrial tool, it has to be deployed with strict rules, close monitoring, and incredibly tight financial planning from day one. You absolutely cannot just adopt it, hand it to your team, and hope for the best. I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. As companies all over the world rush to automate absolutely everything they can, we really have to ask ourselves, can AI truly replace employees if it actually ends up costing more than their salaries? It's a question that challenges the entire core assumption of the AI revolution, and honestly, figuring out the answer is going to dictate the survival of a lot of companies in the years to come. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those hard questions, and we'll catch you next time.